staff report.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All right, discussion. Any particular discussion?
Yeah, I feel this is a much better use of the land than the previous application.
Okay. And from someone who lives in the area? Any other comments? You're that way too. All right, therefore, we have the motion to recommend the acceptance of fee in lieu of land for the Clear Lake project with up to 25% park dedication credit for the trail along Keats Avenue based on the findings listed from the staff report. That is the motion. It has been seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? It passes. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. And I may have misspoke regarding those ponds, those might be plant ponds. I apologize.
All right. Next, why did somebody eat my agenda? All right, next is the Bob and Holly Kress donation.
Yes. Thank you, Chair. You've all received a copy of this. Again, we have another family that would like to donate one of our benches to our assets or to our park system. Bob and Holly Kress have contacted the city about a placement of a bench park inside a Sunfish Lake. So the issue before us tonight is should the Park Commission accept the donation of $1,650 from Bob and Holly? Bob and Holly wish to donate the money to fund an upgraded park improvement at the Sunfish Lake Park. It is requested the donation help to purchase a bench between the mile markers, between the markers of numbers 20 and 19 in Sunfish Park. So again, like we always have, we should kind of review that. I know this will probably be about the fourth time we've been through it, but just identifying those when accepting a donation, what we should be looking at. Does the gift have value? How long it should last? Expectancy. If something would happen to that, what should be the expectations for replacement of that, if any? If costs are direct or indirect with the city, and as well as just maintenance of that item too. So again, this bench falls in place with a number of ones we've done before, which our maintenance is pretty minimal. We have increased that cost just a little bit than one of our first ones, just after doing the project, we realized, how much we put into it. The little extra things, it's just, it's the rental of the small amount of concrete that you gotta get. So that's a little bit more than you expect, but just those hand tools and things like that to cover that, that cost. But otherwise, about 98% of that is the cost of the bench with the plaque. So we're not gaining money from it. That's about as minimal as we get to install that. So did provide a map in your packet as far as the location of where they'd like to see that placed again. This would be in question two with Public Works staff. We go out there, review it with Bob and Kelly both, just to review that where its placement. We want to make sure that we can still groom that trail, right, that still have access for walkers as well, and so that it still gets the view that we're seeking as well. So with that being said, it looks like it's going to be on that west side of that trail, facing that lake, but just based off topography and things like that, we'll get out there, we'll make sure that it's in a good spot that we can still groom that trail and still won't be in hindrance of users of that trail either. Financially, the proposed donation will be placed in the park's general fund maintenance. We just kind of borrow, so we take the donation, it's placed in that general fund, and then we borrow back from that for the purchases of the bench. They have requested to have a plaque on there, which would read, "Relax to the sights, sounds, and smell of nature," with Bob and Holly Kress's name on there as well. So with that, we do have a couple options to approve the donation or not to approve the donation. And we should identify any exclusions that are related to that recommendation as well. So.
Thank you. So we'll start out with questions from commissioners. Yeah, I would agree with you that the placement of that, since they want it on the lake side, some of those areas are a little soft. So I encourage you to take that into consideration when you place that. The other question that's a non-question, isn't this the second or third one we've had from residents of another city?
It is, yep.
I do think at some time, it's not a question, I do think at some time it would be good to put in the weekly email letter that we do accept this kind of things, and we could point out this one or reinforce it, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I think with our communications director, you know, if this one goes through council, it'd be a great opportunity to promote that, put that out on some
Right.
of our facial things as well.
Any questions other than my babbling?
I think it's a great spot, especially now that the park has been cleared out so much. It's amazing to see the topography there. It's really neat, and I think that would be a nice spot for a park bench.
Okay. No other questions? Then do we have a motion?
I make the motion. I move to recommend to the city council to approve the donation from Bob and Holly Kress to purchase a bench, placard, and installation materials not to exceed $1,650 and to be placed in Sunfish Lake Park.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any questions on the motion? Pretty straightforward. If not, all in favor of the motion, raise your hand and signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No nays. I would like it when you present this, and to the city council, to remind them that the people from outside the city enjoy our parks. All right, now for the highlight of the evening, the budget.
Yes, thanks again. So, received some communication from me probably earlier this month in regards to our capital improvement plan, with a new finance director and some of the things that they're expected to do. This has kind of been pushed up, into our plan as well. So, what has been done likely in June, July in the past, we're seeing those dates increase up a little bit, sooner. So that's why it's coming here in April already. So, our department heads have to have their stuff completed before the end of the month too, so we're really pushing the envelope to get these through there. So again, any suggestions or changes to our CIP plan tonight, we'll make recommendations to those to our heads as well as the city council in upcoming meetings in June. So again, just a reminder of one of our bigger tasks is that our capital improvement program is a multi-year, 10 years. So again, reminder that there used to be a 5-year, but we expanded that about 2 years ago to 10, just to kind of have a better, broader vision of what to expect going down. And that's mainly for those bigger capital improvement plans on our water sewer side, but does help us as well on our park side as well. That capital expenditure of the city's infrastructure, such as streets, parks, utilities, and equipment and public buildings. It identifies the major projects needed and desired by the community, their potential costs, and how they would be financed. Again, Lake Elmo CIP includes all capital projects that cost at least $25,000 and have a useful lifespan of 5 years or longer. So issue before us tonight, what park improvements should be included in the 2026 through 2035 capital improvement plan? When should they be completed? So much of our funds come from the park dedication funds. So in determining a project, the commission should keep in mind the requirements set out by city code. Again, those requirements are, one, the cash donation paid to the city shall be paid in that special fund, and the money shall be used only for the acquisition of development of improvement of parks, redevelopment and rehab of existing parks and facilities or sites, or debt service in connection with land previously acquired or improvements previously constructed. So, and again, no funds are used for ongoing operations or maintenance. So we'll see a lot of those things throughout as we go along, like just updating those. Those are through our regular budgets or through other means of funds and shouldn't be used as dedication funds. Just to put together a quick slide on our financial impacts coming up, not only as part of our park dedication balance, but what we can expect potentially in the this year in '25. So these three projects are estimates: the High Point Cross, the Prairie Skies, and the Roars project. So some of those, just depending on how that DA laid and what was paid up initially, this is about the final funds coming from those properties that we could expect to receive in 2025. Just depends if those get done and they meet expectations before, or if they lead on to 26. I think the High Point Crossing is one that we had on there last year, but is continuing to come over into 2025. So our park dedication balance, as of April of this year, we have that $3 million in there. The baseball improvements was still in there, so you could kind of knock out that $1 million already, but we still have those 2025 expenses there, including Clays Park, the building of Shilkins Park, the Reed Park parking lot, and some other small miscellaneous expenses that we'll have throughout the year, including, our Pebble Park and Sunfish Lake Park parking lots and things like that. So that will come out of there. So, so that's what we're kind of looking at as a balance as of today, estimate. So getting on to the meat and potatoes of the CIP, here's some recommendations the staff is looking at. Dog park parking lot and paving of the trails. So in 2026, they're gonna redo the parking lot around the old fire station. And when looking at that, that'd be a great time to do it all at once, so that we have a seamless transition from the parking lot all the way down into the dog park parking lot, as well as that open area, or I should say that leashing area inside that dog park. As far as the trails in there, it would just go from the leashing area out to the edge of the dog park. That would just take you to the small dog park area. So just a small little trail that would connect all that together and pave that. It helps for a little bit of the water transitioning off the parking lot, because we'll probably see a lot more of that if it is paved. That it does have to go through that dog park in order to get down into the stormwater area. So paving that leashing area is ideal in that consideration. Otherwise, we'll get all that water, and it'd probably be extremely muddy right there before that water station for the dogs. So we're looking at that in 2026. Priority year 2, which is important, at $50,000. Item number 2 is the Limerick Village Area Park Development. Again, Sophia went over that development a couple months ago. So we're looking at that in 2029, if all things go as planned with that development. Remember, we chose that open space, so developing that park after potentially phase 1 or phase 2 of that is to start putting that park in there and developing that. So setting money aside for that. Number 3, increase the funds for Lions Park concession stand. We increased this by $25,000. It was at $275,000. We increased it a little bit more. A couple options with that, though, we got to look at when that comes forward is either do we update what we have, or do we start all over? What we're finding out to make this one currently ADA compliant with the bathrooms, we're looking at probably a little bit more than $300,000 in order to do that. So they did provide us with a couple different options as far as entrances to those bathrooms on the outside of the building versus going in, which would help that, but just really opening up that whole concession stand area for better use, and potentially rentals as well. Again, a category 2, and that is scheduled for 2027. Number 4, we removed the outdoor, we're recommending removing the outdoor fitness park. As part of our parks master plan, they did ask that, that is kind of a trend that is coming forth. But what we're finding is when we look at that, is that the $30,000, we got to do one of two things. There's $30,000 set aside for that. We either need to double that, because the fitness park is costing just as much as a regular playground park, or we remove that and make it part of a regular park. So, when we're looking at when we're going through our parks right now, we can add those things like similar to Kleist Park. We could have added like the pull-up bench and things like that. We can look at situations like that. I think that'd be more feasible to add those fitness items to those parks, even though we have to separate them from the children's area. We might be able to still enclose those in and have like just a smaller section to have those outdoor fitness parks. The other consideration with that is with that larger lot of land, that could be a park of its own inside that, if it comes back with our survey results as something that's a need at that larger park, is to put that in there with those ball fields, those open space soccer fields, things like that, with that. So that was our thinking on that, recommendation. The 5th one would be the Ridge Park reconstruction. We'll go over that this fall here yet, as far as some plans and some ideas of what we can do there. With that, there's gonna be some extensive excavating to flatten that out. There's gonna be some stormwater ponds. We are looking at, if you would go with that, possibly asphalting the parking lot just to make that more usable area if you're gonna have a newer play set, a newer ball field, some open space for soccer or courts there as well. So the park does open up to have a lot of opportunities to it. If we were to go that route, that's kind of a starting point with that. So again, category 3, set for 2026. The next item is things to note or things to consider that are changes in the CIP that come, that we've kind of adapted with. The first one is Project 38. I don't know if these are listed as projects on the handout that you got, but it's a trail addition. So that trail addition was moved to 2027, included a trail from County Road 14 down to the railroad tracks, and continuing on past Easton Village and, Pilot Park and things like that. So it was right along Manning Avenue. So with that, we're kind of waiting for potential development of that to help with that trail, as well as Manning Avenue being a county road, some assistance with them to help with that as well. So we're just trying to align that with a couple projects going on there. Also part of Project 38 was to fill in the gaps along Hudson Boulevard down to the south, in between those lots where it's not developed yet, and we have some open space or open lots, just to make that a continuous trail from maybe Keats all the way across. So we're just looking to move that. It was scheduled for 2026. We're moving it out to 2027 on that one. Project 50, the Table and Pebble Court resurfacing, that was scheduled for 2030. We're just moving it back a year, mainly because we were scheduled to complete the courts in 2023. They didn't get completed until 2024. Those do have that lifespan of that surface area, about 7 to 8 years, and that's why it was put at 2031. We just moved that back a year. Our project number 54, the invasive species management, it is scheduled for next year, 2026. I don't have any changes in there, but it would be something to discuss as far as a couple of things with that. We got to look back at our notes of, it needs to improve the park as well as have a lifespan of 5 years. And so when we look at the things that we're doing, want to make sure that when, we're pretty broad with the invasive species management part of it. If we're doing like a tree inventory or something like that, that makes sense. If we're identifying a certain invasive species and trying to control it or remove it, that might be something different where we might have to be a little more creative with that. So just a general topic to bring up. If we have other things that we could add to that to make sure we meet those criteria, now would be the time to discuss those and make sure we get that in the CIP, if we have to move it, generally, but, something to discuss. Project number 11, added Hammis Park to the replacement program. It was never in there initially, so, and it's coming up 2037, it's a year beyond our CIP, but just to put it in there because it currently isn't in there right now. So just to keep those playgrounds in there and being considered as replacement as they come up. With that, I'll open it up to other suggestions from the Parks Commission or recommendations or discussion that you guys might have. But otherwise, we're looking to make a motion on our CIP tonight.
Okay, I have one suggestion, though. If we could go through the budget pages, okay, because that's really where the metal meets the road, the rubber meets the road. So, I mean, we could dance all over with questions all over the place, but the key thing here is is the amount that we're spending, is the project good? Is the amount we're spending good? Is it in the right years? And therefore, we need to, if there are changes, we need to mark up this document. And again, if we make a change to, what is it, just 2026, we have to zero it out, right? If we add something into 2026, we have to zero it out?
As far as, what do you mean by zeroed out, sorry?
Well, if I add a $10 million project to 2026, it's got to come off some other project, right?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
No.
So it's open that way, all right. So is everybody okay with going through it on that sheet? So I'm going to go through all these items to make sure we're okay with it, or if you have questions right now, or recommendations. Okay. Starting at the top of the first page, new or refurbished ball fields, that's the $1 million. Questions from the commissioners about that in 2026? Okay, carriage station park play equipment. That's in 2028.
Can I just ask one question?
Yeah.
So, Adam, are these listed in any particular order?
Looks like they may be just alphabetical.
Alphabetical,
Alphabetical.
right? That's it, okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Central Greenway Regional Trail. We've had people come and talk to us about that. That's in 2028. As I remember, that's about in accordance with theirs, 520.
So I have a question on that, because in this document that was sent out, it said 300,000.
We initially had 300,000 in there. That was increased last year, so that's why that's in there, that's an error. Yeah.
Okay, so the 520 is the correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's our estimate, that's not something that's given by the county?
That would be our portion. of that.
That's
Yep.
but does it come from do they say, oh, you gotta cough up 520,000, or is that what we think?
That's what we think.
Okay.
Right.
All right, good catch there. Next is the Central Play Complex. That is what?
That would be for the new park, the dedicated land that we just purchased.
Somewhere along the line, we should come up with a preliminary, non-name, temporary name.
Yeah, so each one of these do, like if, in their planning portion of it, or the planning program, there is a definition for each one of these that does have a brief description of location areas, just things that we talk about.
So everything that is dealing with that complex is called Play Complex? Okay. All right, were there any questions on the Play Complex?
mean, it seems to me, should we be looking at setting aside some additional monies for programming there? I guess it's probably hard without a concept, and since this is a 10-year plan, we do have a lot of flexibility since we review this every year. But I guess that's just one thing that I was kind of thinking of. I was anticipating seeing more with that. It's fine that it's not. Is that just something that we should be flexible with, or what are your thoughts there, Adam?
You're saying programming at the central complex?
Yeah.
I don't foresee us doing any planning with that property until, till next year.
Okay,
So,
great.
like
So we'll
surveys.
know next year.
Yep, surveys and more of a bigger, broader, like, idea. Because,
Okay.
I mean, there's gonna
Yeah.
be a lot of questions initially, what do we want there, right? So they're gonna go to the community, they're gonna ask, and then even from there, they're gonna get some sketches and some things that will work to be approved on to come back to us. So, and then another year building and making
Yeah,
things happen.
so 2029 makes sense with that timeline.
So, to keep going along that line, though, more than likely, they'll plan out the ball field facilities and then come to us and say, hey, do you want to add some extra park stuff to this?
I would think so, yep. So just another note that we had, I was just gonna back up to that central play complex.
Oh, thank you.
Was just, the general concept was to include a play structure and shelter for multifamily gatherings. That was our biggest thing, is to make an area for multifamilies.
Okay, the court resurfacing we've talked about.
I have a question on that too. The court resurfacing, the project 40,
Yep,
is that for the hockey rink / courts?
Pickleball.
no. That one actually is for the basketball courts and the current basketball courts at like, DeMontreville,
Okay.
Carriage Station, Tablin.
Okay.
So we're looking to resurface those or seal those and possibly line them as well for pickleball. So there'd
Got
be,
it.
bring a portable net, but we'd line them for basketball as normal. And then the request was, it doesn't cost us much to just throw some other small lines on there in the middle for pickleball sideways. So, but
Okay.
it'd just be, you bring your own nets.
Okay, cool. Am I missing the resurfacing fee for the Lions Park pickleball courts?
And the protective tarp.
Yeah, I would guess that would be rolled in, but if not, I guess it would be my recommendation that we think about adding that for 2026.
I think when we talked about it, it was going to be lumped in with the other improvements to Lions.
Correct.
Okay, cool. So that's in project 39 then?
So 39 is just the playground equipment. I don't see the, I don't see the other one in here, so we'll make sure it gets in there. Because that is, we had that in there last year. And that would be the resurfacing of the ice rink, right? Yep.
And the special tarp, protective liner, sorry. All right, and that's 2026. Do we need a priority on that?
One?
Yes.
Let's say one,
One?
Do we estimate that would, I mean, $30,000, is that about right for that?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. We talked about 40, project 40. What about project 50? Any questions? Project 47, the disc golf in 2029. Any comments?
I still like seeing that. I think it keeps our eyes on the horizon for opportunities.
Okay. Okay, the parking and lot paving, we just talked about that. Any questions more on that?
No, that
Is
would
that
be,
the same as what we just talked about, or is that,
We talked about,
Yes, and here it's only listed as 30,000. We're looking to increase that to 50.
okay, so it's in,
okay, 50,000 in 2026. Because that'll be in conjunction with the repaving of, or the paving of the rest of the area as needed around the old second fire station. Okay, Hidden Knoll Park Play Equipment Replacement in 2032. Any comments? Invasive species management.
Per your recommendation, I think we should push that out 5 years to 2030, especially knowing that everything in Sunfish Lake took a little bit longer, and so I think that that would match nicely with that 5-year, any maintenance that might need to be done.
But this could include other parks, right? Not just Sunfish Lake.
We had in our notes, Sunfish or other parks, so. But I think 5 years is a good number. I think what that would entail at the time with our staffing levels is to like hire Stantec or another firm to like actually do the inventory, address the issue, or identify the issue, and then a solution to it as well.
So when do you call 5 years?
2030.
Okay. 5 years from now. Okay. I think it's good that we've got something. Okay. Lions Park concession building updates. We did talk about that. And you were talking that this number's a little question because of the,
Yeah, just because of the condition of the building right now and its accessibility for ADA, right?
the other thing is, would you be looking at making it year-round and eliminate the porta potty that we have in that park currently?
Potentially you could, I mean, you potentially could. The only downfall of that would be is that those doors would need to be manned or maintained on a daily basis, right? Either locked or closed or open all the
Right.
time. So
Well,
then-
and heat and,
Yep.
so you don't freeze it
but
up,
the-
yeah.
Yep, or people living in it, you know.
Well, people
is it-
living in it,
yeah,
right.
So,
Okay,
so I think, yeah, I mean, it definitely could be. It probably wouldn't be a recommendation at this point to keep them open all year round, but
it's a good distance from the rink, so initially the rink was right outside the door.
used to be right outside of it, right?
okay, we don't have to figure that out right now, just, any other questions about the concession building? And 2027. Okay, I'm off to 39, project Lions Park Playground Equipment Replacement, 250,000 in 2026.
I have a question about that. I'm just looking at that, and that is a pretty comparable number to the Central Play Complex. So are we, do we want to have a conversation about increasing that number or decreasing that number to try to kind of optimize our park system amenities? And I guess if we increase that for next year, then we have the opportunity to do it. But if we decrease it to something more in line with other play equipment replacements, then we might have some more wiggle room for other things. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking about there.
Do you know where the 250 number came from? Did we-
The 250 number came from looking at what we currently have there,
Yeah.
squaring that up. So you'd have a square concrete border all the way from the ice rink all the way to where it is, but also to come over to the parking lot to make that barrier square. But then but looking at what we're currently getting for 125,000, and looking at what we want down there, right? That's gonna be, that is kind of similar to your central complex of like multiple families, you got easy access from the eastern area, you know, multiple areas, and the future development of this, you know, could go there, right? So in the next 20 years, making something there that's usable, can hold those multiple families, have a paved parking lot, which is not included in that right now. So this is just for the playground, right? So, but really squaring that up, to include the swings, there's multiple things out there that they're changing, to keep, you know, if our choices are to keep a tower, with the higher slides, which all kids enjoy, I mean, those prices go up a lot more than the single, like, one-story slide, so.
Okay, cool. I know we've also heard comments that there is no shade there, which is absolutely true as well. And okay, thanks for explaining that, Adam.
Yeah, and in that, if anything, I would, you know, I would increase to match maybe that central complex area, but then in consideration, when we bring those items forward to say, you know, hey, let's go with the lower option, it's always easier. You know, it's always easier to go with the lower option than it would be to go,
Yeah.
continue to go above what we're expecting, right? Or what we've bidded.
So right now, there's no change. Nobody's recommending a change. Or are they?
I say, let's bump it up to 275 and take that extra 25,000 of the invasive species that we moved off 5 more years.
Okay, changing the Lions Park Playground equipment to 275,000 K. Okay. Multi-sport complex amenities. Now, this is different than Central Play Complex,
Right.
but at the same location.
At the same location, correct. So there could be a number of things there. I think our biggest point with that, when we put that in there, is investing another $1 million into that facility, right? So we might, you know, because we're using that $1 million for the purchasing of the land, now we start at ground zero, $0, right? So how can we, as I think what it was looked at is, how is the park commission, how can we put money towards that to fund the future of that, to get things rolling, right?
Okay. Next is the series of pavilions that we had requested in undetermined park shed, because we have many parks where it is no shade, no place for anybody to gather. And so what was proposed last year is 5 pavilions over 5 years. Any questions about those? So, yeah, okay, between now and 2030, good. All right, next is outdoor fitness equipment, $30,000 in 2029.
That was a little bit different than our fitness park. That idea was to place fitness equipment possibly along trails throughout the city. As we create that trail corridor through the city, is to possibly place those throughout. So it's just kind of maybe a stopping spot to do something a little bit different.
Yeah, seeing this, and I guess this goes with the park too, that it makes me think maybe we want to have a discussion going back about that Lions Park playground equipment replacement. Based on the information that you told us earlier, Adam, it seems like if it seems wise, if we want to do something like that, to include it with a bunch of updates that are already being made. I guess I can't help but wonder if Lions Park would not, be a potentially good site for that. And maybe we would want to think about increasing that CIP item a little bit more, but other commissioners,
I think Lions Park would be a prime place to put one of those pavilions with the park, at the park, and the new playground, but then I'm wondering, like, what space would be available? Would there be space, for,
Yeah, that's the problem we've had with Lions before. There's really not any space there. Because you realize that the other property is basically right up against
yeah.
it. But the concept of, and make sure I've got this right, Adam, individual fitness stations you could put at individual parks. And that's what that 30,000 is.
Yeah, that was more along our trails than
Trails.
actually at a park, so. Yep.
Our trails have enough,
So, yeah, we have a right of way off the trails, and that's the only probably real concern, is like, our biggest idea was down near that Stonegate, Ivywood, where we do own all that area, right?
Right.
Is to maybe attach them along that area, that corridor, right? And that's where, yeah, we would own that area anyway. The only big concern would be is, in the future, if we do look at plowing those trails, is keeping those things off those trails so
Right.
you can still
Right.
maintain those.
or, and, the Limerick Village, because we're starting a new park there. We could put all these pieces as a early fitness park there, potentially.
Yeah, if that was the case, I would keep that, fitness park, CIP item on there and just push that out to
Could do that too.
2029.
All right. Does anybody have any suggestions other than you wanted to increase it, right?
No, well, so I guess I was recommending that the Lions Park playground equipment be increased to 2,700, but, if we wanted to remove one of those lines and increase it further, it sounds like that might kind of shoehorn us into some limited options, which
Right.
I,
I think
Don't
keep it
necessarily
separate
like,
is a
but-
better way of doing it.
yeah. So are you saying that keep the outdoor fitness
Yeah.
equipment as is?
Right.
And also keep the outdoor fitness park, but push that out, or
No,
remove
leave that right
line?
now. We're basically putting those in just as placeholders, the way I interpret it. And we'll look at the outdoor fitness park, putting them beside trails or wherever we decide. If we decide to do a whole park, then we might just push that out to 2029. Or, if we decide to put it into the complex, I'm calling it the complex, then that might be pushed out to 2029, or we might utilize it for next year in some places. So it's a kind of a TBD.
Okay, so you'd like to keep it.
That's my suggestion.
Does it make sense, just for clarity and remembering in the future, to just change outdoor fitness equipment to outdoor fitness equipment for trails, and then the PR 46 to outdoor fitness equipment for a park? I mean, again,
Yes.
just for
Yes.
clarity.
Did you get that, Adam? Okay, now we're to park sign replacement. New parks, though, we would go ahead and put up signs, right?
Correct.
Okay, we had talked about the fact that these things disintegrate over time, and we need to update them, so again, I think that's good. All right. I'm now on to PR 31, Reed Park Play Equipment. And 2033. I realize it's a long way out there, but like when I first came on the commission, there was like nothing. And now we have a plan, and I think that we keep working that plan. So these are based on the installation dates and the recommended life expansion, or life of those pieces of equipment. Same with Ridge Park.
Although there is a recommendation for an increase, or is that separate from play equipment?
Oh, to
The
include the
reconstruction.
Reconstruction, is that
Reconstruction.
separate?
Adam?
Say that again?
We have a recommendation for Ridge Park reconstruction. Is that separate from equipment replacement?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And the timing's the same?
2026.
Okay.
And again, we've been putting that $125,000 as a placeholder for those.
It's a good bit.
We see how we can go up and down,
Right.
just based off location of those.
The next one is the roller skate park. Project 44. Or is this ice skating?
Skateboard.
Skate.
You can roller skate if you want.
You can try it.
Skates out.
You can try it, Hank.
I'd be dead either way. Okay, that's 150,000 for a skateboard park. In 2029. Then we have Project 30, which is Stonegate Park Play Equipment Replacement in 2027. And Tablin Park Play Equipment Replacement in 2029. And Tana Ridge in 2030. Again, most of those are driven by the long-range plan that we have.
I think Tablin was the only one that was a little bit more initially, just because we thought about moving that basketball court as well, and moving everything all to one, the swing set, play set, and the basketball court all in one area, and potentially be a separate item, but a pavilion in that area as well.
Right.
It's the only reason why that one's a little bit higher.
Okay. The trail additions, which we heard about before, which were along Manning, right?
Along
And
Manning
Hudson.
And Hudson, correct.
And Hudson.
So that was being moved to
We're
2027.
moving that to 2027.
And then Trail Connections, PR 51 in 2029.
So it's like acquiring land, right? So still in our
Right.
in our
Right.
book is the Wildflower, between Wildflower and Tana, that one's still on our list, as a connection.
Sunfish.
Well, now in Keats, potentially, I don't know.
Say that again?
You were talking about that one development, Keats needing a trail.
All right, yep.
Sorry, the trail additions, I'm not seeing that listed in the packet of when you wanted that moved to
2027.
2027.
Okay,
Can we back up once?
Sure.
About the Keats Trail? Since it's a county road, is there any input or help from the county doing that?
That section of Keats is not a county road. The north section of Keats
The no-
Yeah.
Yeah,
is city,
that's,
Okay,
south of the park reserve is
okay.
county.
Is that like in the past 10 years, maybe?
Been a
Probably so.
while.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that.
okay. The vehicle and equipment trade-in,
So that isn't part of that doesn't come out of park dedication funds, so you can skip that section.
And the replacement, vehicle replacement? I wanted to talk about the skid loader. All right. So, any other,
So do we need to talk about the recommendations on that?
yeah, let's go back and make sure we caught all that stuff. Go back to your recommendations. Okay. The dog park, we talked, that's in the budget.
The only thing is we're
At 30.
increasing that by 20,000.
Yeah.
The dog park increase, no discussion was, no, that's just, okay. I'm looking for the dog park. Oh, yeah, okay, 50,000, got it. Limerick Village Park Area Development, is that on here?
It's not.
It's not not on that CIP, because these are recommendations to put on
So
it.
adding it would be
Yep.
a recommendation.
Where does the 400,000 come from? Where does that, no, that?
So park dedication, so Sophie, do you remember how much that Limerick Village would, so we took land and
Yeah,
cash?
I think they're proposing something pretty close to the 8 acres. It was originally like 5, and then it went to Parks Commission, and they bumped it up to 8, so it'd be programming that whole 8 acres.
So we took land and trails, no money, right?
Correct.
Correct, yeah. So, yeah, that 400,000 would be just park dedication fund money that we have in the budget from selecting land, or selecting funds instead of land in other.
Comparable to comparable.
No, I
park.
guess, I'm just wondering why that number was put in as, how does one say this? Why is 400 listed as the amount we'd spend to create a park? Did you have things in mind that were,
Nothing in mind as far as, I'm just thinking larger scope of, we need a park in that central area, right? There's nothing down there currently, so you'd be looking at a parking lot. They might actually do the parking lot, I'm not sure, but you'd be looking at courts, potential ball fields, potential playgrounds. So
Okay.
if you were looking at a potentially, because you could have 600 some people in that small area, so you're probably looking at a larger complex, I would say, for
So it's a
multiple families in that. So-
bigger park with more
Yep.
amenities?
I would go right away with the pavilion as a recommendation, right?
Okay.
So, if we start putting $100,000 pavilion with concrete, your playground set at 200,000, we're not that far off
Yeah,
if you start
okay.
adding a basketball court.
Okay.
in
Okay,
Do you have a year for that?
2029.
Thank you.
2029. Okay. Lions Park. What did we get on Lions Park? We've got 275. You want to make that 300?
Correct.
Commissioners, any comment? I think it's going to take that.
Is it basically the like Emma Ball that uses the concession stand?
Yeah, we get like last year we had 2 other rentals in there, but they were for ball,
All related?
the use of the ball field as well as that, so.
They used it at the 4th of July thing,
Okay.
so
We use the
maybe,
parking lot, yep.
And Huff and Puff or something like that?
Huff and Puff uses
Huff and
it,
Puff,
yeah.
Okay.
And if it was real nice, something else. All right. Remove outdoor fitness park.
And we suggested keeping that,
Okay,
is that right?
Yeah, so may I
Okay.
just change the verbiage to move outdoor fitness park project number 46 to whatever date.
right. Well, the park we have as 2026, and the trail is 2029, is that right? Is that what we've got?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I'm okay with that as long as we have flexibility still. All right, and Ridge Park reconstruction, is that in there? Did we add that in there? Park.
That's on the second page.
But, no, we'd have to
Oh,
add it in.
it's
No.
at the bottom.
And 325,000. When would you like that done? We must be wanting to do it with 2026, right? Match it in with the. Okay. And did we put in, we took care of all the, did we add in the, yeah, Ames Park? Is that in there?
Which
20.
park?
Yeah, well, it is. The Hams
Hamas.
Amos.
Park replacement 2037? Oh, because it's off the chart.
Right.
It's not in there. Okay.
Was that supposed to be 2027? No?
No.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because that's relatively new. Because I remember being out at the park, yeah. Okay, other questions? We've got a number of changes here. But everybody think they're on board? Adam, you got them all? I've got notes. You've got everybody's got notes, I think.
Yep.
So the question is, Adam, do you have all the markups?
Do you want an intense motion or a less intense one?
This is what I'm trying to figure out, is if everybody's got it. I don't mind going through it all. Or you can go through it, you've been taking notes.
Do you have notes? So we want an intense motion then?
Do you want it all spelled out?
Yeah, let's make it,
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I'll make a motion then to recommend the 2026 to 2035 Parks Capital Improvement Plan to City Council, including all staff recommendations for adjustments, except keeping Project 46 Outdoor Fitness Park and improving the distinction between fitness parks and fitness equipment situated along trails, and moving trail additions to year 2027, and adding court resurfacing and protective liner for Lions Park Ice Rink for 2026 with priority 1 for $30,000, and moving invasive species management to item 2030, or to year 2030, and increasing Lions Park playground equipment replacement to $275,000.
I'll second that.
Okay, any questions about the motion? From anyone? All right, all in favor of the motion as presented and added to, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It passes. Is everyone good? It's always a big exercise to do all that, so I appreciate the notes.
You got it.
Appreciate everybody's input on it. It is, in my opinion, between that and the work plan, some of the major work that we do during the year. How you doing there, Adam?
good, yep, we're good.
Whenever you're ready to communicate,
Yes.
we're ready to listen.
So, since our last visit, we talked about the portable toilets, all those have been placed out for the summer of 2025. So those are all at our parks. Parks mowing will start next week already. We did review that with our contractor today. So park cleanup is happening this week and mowing will start. Our contractor will start mowing our dog park a little bit too, probably on a monthly basis, just to add that to our contracted services. Our ball fields, those were all raked and dragged. We'll add red ball to those coming up in June. But we do have a volunteer group that's coming in at the early of June as well to help move some of our mulch and some of our playgrounds and that. Our church group from Rock Point will be helping us out with that. So if you've been down to Pebble Park lately, we did do the parking lot extension there already and did some, our seed is planted there, so hopefully in the next couple of months, we'll see some greenery coming up there with our wildflowers. But we did excavate that hill out a little bit to include additional parking for that area. Our Kleist playground equipment is due to be installed as early as June 1st. So Public Works will be working on that in the next coming weeks to get that prepped here in May for the installation of that in June. So so it's kind of like getting those things in the front of the grid in late fall, so that way we can get in that early schedule with those projects. So Sunfish parking lot, we'll probably work on our Kleist Park first, and then move back to our parking lot construction at Sunfish Lake following that. So I would say mid to late June, if not early July, with that parking lot expansion. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioners, any communications?
Yes, I was at Sunfish on Saturday, and they had at least 20 volunteers seeding native seeds for plantings and flowers in parts of the park that were cleared out, which was pretty neat to see all the volunteers there. The grading of the Pup Lock parking lot is really nice, Adam.
Yeah.
It was graded, I think, last week. I played pickleball today at Tablin, and I can't believe what nice courts we have. I hear compliments about Pebble Park and Tablin all the time. I was playing there this afternoon with my granddaughter, and they're really nice courts. One comment I have, and I talked with Adam about this earlier, when the bike trails in Sunfish are closed, there's a cone and a sign in the parking lot by the Nature Center. But a lot of bikers come in from the Pup Park, and there's no sign there. And I'm just wondering, I don't know who puts up the signs. Does the city do it? Are the volunteers who take care of it?
We don't. It's normally when Stantec's out there and they're working and they have to close the section of the trail.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean, when the bike trails themselves are closed due to the weather.
Oh,
think it's
no, we do not do that.
Mork does
So
it.
that Morak does do
More-
that, yep,
So maybe we should talk to them about it, because there's a lot of people who come in,
from the back.
because there's no sign there saying that they're closed, and it's always dry back there, when you first start from the Pup parking lot in. I think it would probably, because sometimes there's some people using it inappropriately, and they assume that it's open because there's no sign on the backside.
Boy.
See that?
Just as an update, I went to just stop by the meeting that was happening about the improvements to the Lake Elmo Main Street, nature gardens and things like that along that. Talked to the chairwoman of Connect Lake Elmo, mainly because I don't consider it really parks, but we do get a lot of questions in the past about that. And I've invited her to come and talk, but it would probably be, according to her, it was gonna be next fall or so. But you guys might hear about Lake Elmo, Connect Lake Elmo wanting to come and talk to us sometime.
Yeah, so that project's been in discussion for quite a few months already, so there's some planning there. We have our landscape architect involved with that, as well as trying to reunite those, but especially with some communities too, to working together to make those planters a little bit more pleasing in town.
Right. Well, like I said, when they went bad, everybody came to the Parks Commission and said, what are we doing about it? But no, it's good that that's why I went over to see what was happening on that, so.
They did a really nice job advertising that
They did.
public input too, with
And they got a
flyers
good
at the
group.
library and, yeah.
All right, any other communications from commissioners? Okay. Again, I think we accomplished a lot with the budget, and so I will take a motion to adjourn.
I motion we adjourn the meeting?
Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? No nays. Thank you very much. See you next month for another.